This episode of Jack is brought to you by Weaver Leather.
Okay, so here we are, day 4 with Jack. He likes our extra lighting today. I'm just going to come out here. I didn't turn him out yesterday after we were done, so he just was worked like he was on the camera. And now I'm going to just bring him out here and basically put him to work and see what we've got. There you go. That wasn't all bad. He went around and then he turned to face me without me asking him to. He was just asking me the question, can we be done? Can I turn and face you? And I just kept clucking and walking towards him and staying annoying. And he kind of did a little half rear. And then he went off and worked. And so I'm just being a touch more assertive. When he asked the question, I didn't get offended, but I also didn't let him control what was going to happen, because in a way, that's what's going on between us, is he's asking, am I in control or are you in control? So right now he's going around. He's not looking at me as much as he was yesterday because of how much I just kind of pushed him forward today. So here in a minute, he's asking in the question again. Again, it's not all bad, but you'll notice he's going around not paying attention to me. And then he kind of turns and asks that question. And today I'm just saying, no, not yet. So I'm not being offended, but eventually I'm going to go ahead and ask him to stop. It'll be my choice to have him stop, and he's going to understand that that's a respect thing. Right here, I stopped driving him forward, started to just pull a little bit on the rope. He recognized it, turned in, stopped, licking and chewing. All that's good. That little extra hand motion was, hey buddy, stop, don't come into my space. He's still licking and chewing. That's all good. I'm going to see if he remembers yesterday's tapping on the cannon bones. I'm going to walk up here, tap on the cannon bone. I'm blocking with my hand just to kind of guard myself in case he decides to spook or jump at the stick and string. I'm up here with this hand blocking too. I step in. That was great. He read my body language and stepped back. So, excellent. He'll get a little bit of a break right here while I reorganize myself to go the other direction, and then we'll head on what's been his weaker side. It's most horses' weaker side because we have a habit of handling them from this on side most of the time that they just don't have as much experience. That little funny head cock. So I'm using a lot more of the verbal commands that eventually he'll get hold of. And on this side again, he's kind of overreacting to the halter pressure. But it's nice because he's pretty sensitive. You saw me getting dragged around by him on day 2, so this is pretty nice that he's staying kind of light. There he's really saying, I'm really more comfortable with you on that other side. And now I'm rewarding him for going this direction, not putting quite as much pressure on him, because I have been. Now I'm going to back off a little bit, let him just move around. So this side's still further behind than the other side. There he kind of asked that question again. Much more forward today, much more fluid. This is the way he was pretty sticky yesterday because the day before I rewarded him for kind of side passing this direction. Much more fluid today. And still light. Boy, it's nice to have a light handled stallion, you know, one that responds this softly to the rope, because they can be so strong. It's nice. Go back to a little more of the rubbing. He makes me laugh because he's taking me so seriously and he's thinking. You can just see the wheels turning inside of his head. So again, I'm trying to make this stick and string not really threatening. Horses aren't scared of whips. They're scared of things that hit them repeatedly and often until they say, hey, when I see this, I'm sure it's going to hit me. So I will reach out there and use this on him if necessary. And you'll eventually see that here in the next few episodes, that I'm going to start disengaging his hip, and you'll see me needing to use this. But I need him to understand that it is also something that can feel good. So I'll take that time to rub around on him. Huge change. Now I'm rubbing pretty quick, which I have been, but I'm going to start going more random places, down between his legs, down the bones. Any place that might be uncomfortable for him, or someplace I don't really want to stick my arm the first time, because if you're rubbing around in here and they get kind of funny, they can really kick at you. If it's the stick and string and he kicks at it, it's not such a big deal. Being a little sloppy is good. I don't have to be perfect about it. It can bump into him. He needs to be able to handle it. Now I will stay a little less sloppy up around his head. Don't need to poke you in the eye. That's where the string comes in handy, because I can drop the string and kind of wind it around an ear. Wind it around the other ear. He doesn't seem to be bothered with any of that. That's good. Good job, Jack. Might want to eat it. Okay, so he's being pretty quiet. I hope you can see where I've been planting seeds. I've been putting little pieces. I introduce an idea, like back up when I tap you on the cannon bone, and I don't necessarily drill it. I just kind of introduce it, then I review it on another day. And so that's how I prefer to do the training. So I'm going to start to introduce the idea of disengaging his hip, which is basically, in the end, making him do a turn on the forehand. If he disengages his hip, it means he'll leave his front feet in one spot and turn his back feet around that. Now he needs this disengaging of the hip. He needs it on his offside, because if you watch when he trots around me, he keeps his hip towards me. It's a touch threatening. It's also because he's planning on doing that spin, turn, and leave kind of a motion. It's also because he's not comfortable with me on that side. There's a whole host of reasons why he needs it on that side. If he were not as light on the halter and rope as he was, I would have needed to do it even earlier, but he's been so sensitive that he's been pretty good. So I'm going to introduce the idea on both sides, even though I won't necessarily use it a lot today.
Join us next time for another episode of Jack.